to try to force the resignation of Mark Bailey, who is a member of the Board of Trustees at Flagler College. And I'm here with the gentleman who joined the protest and just wondered, so could you tell me, sir, why you decided to come today?
I just came purely to observe and just to see what's going on in the community. I came last time just to observe as well and just see the protest about Mark Bailey and how the community is kind of up in arms about the situation. So yeah.
And so how does this compare to the protest 3 weeks ago on October 3rd when there were quite a bit more people?
So last time there was definitely like a heavy presence of counter-protesters. This time it seems like there really isn't any, at least as of now. It seems a lot more calm, a lot more peaceful, for sure.
And why do you think there's no counter-protesters?
Last time there was a breakout between the counter-protesters and the protesters, and I believe because of that breakout of violence, that definitely had an impact in the attendance of the counter-protesters.
Okay. And what do you hope happens as a result of the protest?
I would like to see more accountability on Mark Bailey's end, as well as I would like to see a little bit more accountability on Flagler College's end as well. I feel like there's been very little to no information, at least presented to the students as a whole with the whole situation. It feels like there's a narrative being controlled that hasn't even been spoken yet.
Okay. Did you see the letter that Mr. Bailey sent to the
Yes.
entire... What did you think of the letter? Did that not satisfy you in any way?
It felt like half an apology, half part of him playing the victim. To me, it didn't feel completely sincere.
And how do you see this protest in the broader context of, we're just a couple weeks before the election, and there's been quite a bit of turmoil, I guess you could say, in the country since the killing of George Floyd in May in Minneapolis. So do you see this as being connected at all to the things that are happening outside St. Augustine?
Absolutely. Last protest, it felt like it was more of a divide between right and left, conservative, liberal. It felt like people didn't really know about the context and what was going on with the protest, at least from those who I talked to. So there's definitely like a greater impact that I feel like that is being presented as well.
Okay. I appreciate you taking the time. Anything you'd like to add?
No, that's it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
May I talk to you about why you decided to come, sir? Okay. Let's see what Reverend Ross is saying.
History of that lake. We're here. We got many students, staff, community members calling for the resignation of Flagler College Board of Trustees, member Mark Bailey. He offered what appeared to be, has the appearance of bribery to get the city commissioner, elected officials, to change their decision. Black's Law Dictionary describes that as bribery. He's coming, he's put a couple letters of apology out, dealing with the way he demeaned our contributions, the way he devalued what we do in this city, the way he looked down upon our protests. He's offered to pay.
There goes one. There goes my life. Just like this whole week has been. Where was it? Where did they slash it? Either on base or public parking lot coming out. Tell me why in my head I was like,
How's it going?
Good, buddy. Who? Yeah. Yeah. You guys on TV? Get away from us. I feel like really hard. No, the cops want us separated, and that's why they put up the barrier. They were very specific this time. They don't want any. They have more time. A lot of people.
He's fighting.
Excuse me, sir. How are you?
How you doing, young man?
Good. I was just wondering if you could tell me why you decided to come out here today. I'm a journalist and I'm covering this activity.
Well, my thing is, with this feeling, you want to remove, you want to go and protest against the statute. I'm this way. I don't mind the statute due to the fact that without a pass, we have no future.
Right.
But I don't go along with paying homage to Confederate generals and things of that nature. And no, I would love to forget about that. This is something in America's past that we can't forget. But we don't have to go and pay homage to them for it.
I see. And could you tell me, I have not, I work in this area. I work, as a matter of fact, I work at the college and I teach journalism classes, but I'm here in my capacity as a journalist. But I am not, you know, I've lived in this area for 13 years, but I'm wondering, how has the racial climate evolved? Have you lived here for a long time?
Young man, I'm a lifelong resident. I've been involved in racial protests, demonstrations. I was on King's staff. I was nearly lynched by the Ku Klux Klan.
Oh my gosh, when was that?
I was about 18 years old back in the 60s. And you're going to find that I was abducted with 3 other black gentlemen and nearly lynched here in St. Augustine. And I've been involved in this ever since I was 18 years old.
So that was it, and that happened right here in St. Augustine, you said?
Yes, that happened here in St. Augustine. And see, a lot of people don't know this about St. Augustine. My enunciation of it is St. Augustine. Everybody calls it St. Augustine. The proper enunciation is St. Augustine. St. Augustine was named after an African saint. A lot of individuals don't know that. You're going to find that my view on it, that the Civil Rights Bill being passed, the black man in this country has regress rather than progress.
And was it Martin Luther King who said he thought this was the most racist city in America? Or?
Correct. I was with Dr. King here. I was with Dr. King in Selma, Alabama. I was with Dr. King in Macon, Georgia. And like I stated earlier, I was on King's staff.
And so would you say that things got better for a while, but over the past couple years they backslid, things are worse now?
You go and find that individuals became complacent. And what I mean by complacent, they became satisfied. Satisfied, never. Pacified, yes. Once you become satisfied, you become stable.
Need a hand?
And may I ask, what is your name?
James Jackson.
James Jackson. And your age?
I'm 75 years old.
75. Oh, okay. Well, thank you for taking the time to talk to me.
You have a beautiful day, young man.
Okay, you too.
And I'll tell you something else too.
Yeah.
I like to go and divulge this. A lot of people don't realize the importance of St. Augustine. Be it not for St. Augustine, Lyndon Baines Johnson would not have signed the Civil Rights Bill.
Why is that?
He was very reluctant to go and sign that Civil Rights Bill. It was on his desk to be signed. He didn't want to do it, but with St. Augustine being on international and national news every night about the racial conflict and the attacks that we were having here, Johnson was forced into signing that bill.
So this little town has had some impact then?
Well, it does. This town forced Johnson into signing that bill.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. That was very interesting. So that gentleman has been involved in protests for decades and actually joined protests with Martin Luther King. Thanks for joining, David. So Dr. King said St. Augustine was the most lawless city in America.
You okay?
So it is a very different scene this time around versus last time. On October 3rd, counter-protesters lined up across the street there.
No peace! No peace! You can't get no justice! If we can't get no justice! You can't get no peace! If we can't get no justice! You can't get no peace! No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! If we can't get no justice! You can't get no peace! If we can't get no justice! You can't get no peace! No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! No racist! Police! That's what the voice, I only really go back.
May I ask where you're from?
St. Augustine.
St. Augustine?
Mm-hmm.
And were you at the protest on October 3rd?
No, I wasn't.
Okay.
I wasn't able to make it.
So what brought you out this time?
Because I was available. And I stand for the cause. It's time. You know, we're just trying to make our city more equal across the board. And, you know, having people with those mindsets and positions that can determine, you know, students coming in that could be of different backgrounds. We're just concerned that they may be hindered because of that mindset. So we're just sick and tired of being oppressed and, you know, denied opportunity. And, you know, whether he's a racist or he's not, the idea that he stood for a monument that represented somebody that was a racist really is not comfortable. And so we don't want people to have to go through these oppressed situations over and over and keep on being denied opportunity because of the color of their skin or their nationality, things that they can't control. So
And so what would you like to see happen?
I would like to see Mark Bailey resign from his position. The little history I know about Flagler College, I don't think they stand for racism. I don't believe they support the idea of racism. From my understanding, they have a hall that's dedicated to Black history. So I believe that just knowing that's what they stand for, they need to really make a decision. You know, like they say, one apple ruins the bunch, and you don't want to be ruined just because that's one person's perception. So let's just make a difference and, you know, show our people and our community that we're about equality. And that's all we want.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate your time.
No problem.
Like a drive like a 2008 BMW.
Yeah. So just going to give you a look around. Here's the front of the college. Right there. This college was founded in 1968. Has about 2,500 students. So you can see they've blocked off the front. There's some sheriff's deputies over there.
No peace. You can't get no peace. No peace. No peace. No peace. No peace. No peace.
So here's a question from Lucia asking if Mr. Bailey might resign, and I just don't know. Don't know the answer to that. I talked to him 3 weeks ago during the other protest, and he, you know, was very, you know, just wanted to see some understanding over the whole issue. Wanted to try to find dialogue and find common ground. He said he had met with Reverend Rawls, and that the two sides could not agree on some issues, and so we'll have to see what happens. Mark Bailey, he wrote a letter, and it was distributed to all faculty, staff, and students, maybe a week ago or a week and a half ago, and he said this whole process, I'm paraphrasing, had been a learning experience, and that part of one of the core values of the college is transformative learning, and he had learned from this whole experience and really looked to find some common ground and move forward. So that's said a number of things. I mean, the college has taken steps in recent years to increase diversity. There's a much higher percentage of Black and Hispanic students attending the college now than just 3 or 4 years ago. And I know it's been a big priority of the college president, Joseph Joyner. So it's kind of, in a way, it's a little odd that this protest comes at a time when the college was making strides and taking making important steps toward greater diversity. But what really set this off was a letter that Mark Bailey wrote suggesting a way to repurpose a Confederate monument that was here. And so that there's just been lingering unhappiness over that letter. And the statues, there were two of them, there were two Confederate monuments. Across the street, straight, if you look in the background there, past the traffic light, over to the left, there are two spots where there were two Confederate monuments. One was a monument to General William Loring, and the other was a memorial to 44 Civil War dead. And there was just a couple months of unrest, I would say tension, political tension, and some protests over those monuments. Yeah, that's a good point, David, commenting that just last year Flagler College hired a chief diversity officer, Dr. Sandra Miles. Yeah, she is quite amazing. And I remember when she gave her first speech to the faculty and to students, she called herself the Beyonce of student activities or something like that. She has a lot of flair, very smart woman. Thanks for joining from Sydney. Some of you, I'm live streaming and I'm reading some comments that appear. So you may not everybody may see the comments on this. The platform I'm using is called PAPS, and it broadcasts simultaneously to Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Periscope.
Thank you.
That gentleman right there, I believe that's the one who was involved in the scuffle last time. And when he fell to the ground, a gun fell out of his pocket, just as casually as some car keys might fall out of yours. And he was not arrested.
If we can't get no justice, you can't get no peace. No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. What do we want? Justice. What do we want? Justice. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Justice. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Justice. When do we want it? Now. If we don't get it, shut it down. 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 No justice. No peace. Woo! No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! And we can't get no justice!
I gotta go interview that guy over there.
If we can't get no
How's it going?
How you doing?
Just trying to spill my glasses here. How's it going?
Good.
Hey, may I get your opinion?
Sure you can.
So, right here. Okay.
Hold on.
Okay. So, I see that you're the lone counter-protester here. What, I guess, why did you decide to come out?
Well, I decided to come out to go ahead and plug my campaign. I'm running for City Commission Seat 1, and Mr. Rawls had said don't vote for Wade Ross, so I thought I'd come out here and say hello and thank him for his his endorsement.
So he has, where did you stand when, were you here on October 3rd? I know there was a lot of signs, of your signs at that time.
I've been at a lot of these protests. I'm not sure which date, but yes, I've been here many times.
Yeah, okay. And what would you like to see come out of, these types of protests? Do you think that Mark Bailey should resign, or do you think he should hold strong there and stay put?
I think Mark Bailey is a outstanding citizen and a philanthropist, and I saw the video of Reverend Rawls talking about Mark Bailey, and he twisted everything around. Mark Bailey is not a racist.
Okay. And how is when you look at the protests that have been going on, not just in St. Augustine, but around the country, how has that affected your campaign for city council? For the city commission?
I feel like that more or less that I'm just more, I feel like what's happened across the nation against African Americans with police, I feel like those are isolated incidences, and I don't feel like that is a unified approach amongst law enforcement. I feel like the law enforcement come to do their job and do it well, but on occasion there is that one law enforcement officer who does something wrong or does something ignorant, and then it reflects badly upon everybody.
I see. And how is your campaign going? Do you feel like you're getting, you feel optimistic, or what's your...
I'm optimistic. I'm not going to talk too much. I won't be safe until the day after the elections, but I'm going to keep going hard and steady until the end.
Great.
And that's why I'm here today.
Okay, and I missed what you said to Reverend Rawls. What was your appeal to him?
I just wanted to thank Mr. Rawls for endorsing my campaign. He made a video that said basically, don't vote for Wade Ross. He's a bad guy, blah, 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 whatever.
Yeah.
That's not a direct quote, but he made a video specifically for me, so I wanted to thank him for it, because a lot of people have seen this video, and a lot of people in this city are opposed to Reverend Rawls or Mr. Rawls to come to this town. He doesn't even belong here. He belongs in Gainesville, and he should be working on civil rights over there.
So perhaps you got more votes because of him.
That's very possible, and I'm hoping so.
Okay, good. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, sir.
So 3 weeks ago, there were a lot of protesters on this side of the street. And you can see now that there's very few people over here. So thanks for joining, Jennifer.
Also, you might well get over there.
Are you leaving that too?
Yeah.
So there's somebody who's drone up there.
Hey, Professor.
Hey, how's it going? That's Rachel, one of my students. interesting to see this one lone counter-protester. That's Wade Ross, who's running for City Commission. So for those of you joining me from outside Florida, you may not know St. Augustine is a tourist town. It touts itself as the oldest city in the nation. It was settled by the Spanish, I think, in 1565. So there are a lot of tourists. And they come here for a lot of them come here for the history. Okay, head over to the other side of the street.
Was that Curtis project here?
Yeah, because some of those
I got you paid.
So here's a question asking, who are they protesting? Who are they protesting to? So this is a protest aimed at trying to force the resignation of Mark Bailey, who is a member of the Board of Trustees here at Flagler College in St. Augustine, Florida. And Mr. Bailey had tried to reach a compromise and repurpose a Confederate monument rather than moving it, and was trying to work a deal out with government officials to keep the monument in place, a monument that had been in the same spot for 141 years. And Reverend Ron Rawls, who is a prominent activist who leads a church here in town, objected to that and has convened protesters. The first protest was 3 weeks ago on October 3rd, and then this protest today is just started about 4 o'clock, and it's much different than the one 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago we had rows of counter-protesters on the other side of the street, and there was a fight that broke out toward the end of the protest, and 2 people were arrested, and they were charged with misdemeanor charges of can't remember the exact charges, but it was misdemeanor charges. So repurposing the monument, to answer that question, the monument was originally built to honor the lives of 44 St. Augustine men and boys who died during the Civil War. And one idea I heard as far as the repurposing would be to make it a war memorial for war dead from all conflicts and not just the Civil War. So in other words, don't destroy it or remove it, but change its purpose. So let's see, here's another question. So here's a question. Many protesters been asked if there's anything Bailey could do in their eyes where they may change their minds about his resignation. That's a good question. I'll go ask. Excuse me.
No peace! No justice! No peace! Our streets! Our streets! Our streets! Our streets! Our streets! Justice! Now! Justice! Now!
Excuse me, may I ask you a question?
Sure.
I'm a journalist. My name's Tracy Eaton, and I'm wondering why did you decide to come out here today?
I just think it's a really important message, and I want to support it, and I have a lot of friends in here, and I don't know, I just feel like I should be using my voice in the way that I can, in any way that I can.
Okay. And do you think there is anything that Mark Bailey could do short of resigning that would make people happy, and that people would stop protesting, or do you think it has to be a resignation?
I think it has to be a resignation. I think that at this point, that's just about it.
Okay. And what do you think? Like, did you see the letter that he wrote to faculty and staff and students?
Yeah, I got it.
So what did you think of that letter?
I think it's easy. I think it's an easy out for him. Like, I think it was empty words. Like, you can use as many keywords as you want, but at the end of the day, it's just an email, like a mass email. It's not really. I didn't think it was as personal as it could have been.
Do you think it would have been better to do a video?
I don't really know, honestly. I think that it was just really easy for him to do that kind of thing, and I think it has to be something bigger than just sending an email to the students and stuff. So I just don't think it hit right with the students or anyone else.
And there are a lot of students talking about it. It's gotten quite a bit of, it's something that you all talk about on campus?
I'm not really sure. Me and my friends have talked about it, but I can't really speak for a lot of people. So I'm kind of trying to, I do take a lot of online classes, and I'm trying to distance myself from a lot of other people, but me and my friends do. Yeah.
Okay, and one final question. What do you study?
I'm a history major with a minor in education.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
So here's a question asking whether Mark Bailey has done anything else besides this. Were there other incidents? And I don't know the answer to that. There's nothing that I know of. I just started covering this in August, these issues. So here's a question. So repurposing a monument means someone should resign? Well, it wasn't just repurposing the monument, but there was Mark Bailey offered some financial incentives involving, raising money to repair sewers in West Augustine, a predominantly black neighborhood here, and in exchange for working on that project, then the idea was that the monument would stay. And what he had in mind, I understand, was that since moving the monument was going to wind up costing several $100,000, I think the initial estimate was $230,000 or $40,000. I think it's probably now at least $350,000. So Mr. Bailey's idea, as I understand it, was that instead of spending all that money, he was going to raise some money himself and contribute some money himself for infrastructure improvements, and then the city would also have some money available. I'm just paraphrasing, but it was all laid out in a letter that was made public, and the letter is the letter was out, and then the monuments were moved anyway. There were two monuments, and they were moved anyway. But then Reverend Rawls came back and said that he wanted to go back and revisit the issue of the letter.
No! No! Shut it down! No, shut it down! No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! What do we want? Justice! When do we want it? Now! What do we want? Justice! When do we want it? Now! What do we want? Justice! When do we want it? Now! If we don't get it, shut it down! If we don't get it, shut it down! If we don't get it, shut it down! No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! Woo! Have a ride, folks! Lick his boots, bro! Lick his boots! Lick his boots! Lick off! No peace! No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! No peace! Justice! Justice! Now! Dude, kiss him on the lips! They're available! Come on! Give him a big smooth! Give him a big kiss! Lick him! Lick his boots! Lick his face! Lick him! It's a uniform! Lick his boots! Fuck out of here with that shit! No peace! No peace! No peace! Justice! Now! Justice! Now!
So here's the question. Do I feel the country is more divided now than
Shut it down!
we've been in decades?
No peace!
I think it's certainly very divided.
Our streets!
I haven't covered a lot of domestic kinds of issues. I was out of the country for many years, but I think, definitely it's the most divided I've ever seen.
Shut it down! Shut it down!
I lived through the 60s, but I was just a kid, so I wasn't really aware of that. But this is definitely, I think we're definitely seeing the very contentious, divided times.
Mark Bailey has got to go! Hey, hey! ho! Mark Bailey has got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Mark Bailey has got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Mark Bailey has got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Mark Bailey has got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Mark Bailey has got to go! Hey, hey! Mark Bailey has got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Mark Bailey has got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Mark Bailey has got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Mark Bailey has got to go!
So for those of you just joining, this is a protest to try to force the resignation of Mark Bailey, a trustee at Flagler College here in Northeast Florida, in St. Augustine. And this comes 3 weeks after a much bigger protest that had many counter-protesters in support of Mark Bailey. And that turned into had a nasty end to it. There was a fight and several people were arrested. And this time around, the only counter-protester that appeared and was here for a little while was Wade Ross, a city council candidate who supports Mark Bailey and opposed the relocation of two Confederate statues that were just a few blocks from here.
It's a little fast. I never realized it. Yeah, it's a little bit fast.
Okay, so I think I'm going to sign off for the moment. Wait a minute, let me see if there's something going on here. Okay. Okay, I'm going to sign off for the time being, and I'll come back on. I'll come back if there's something else that's going on. Oh, wait a second, maybe it's ending. Let me walk over here and see.
All right, again, I want to thank everybody for coming out. This is what we planned. All right, the silliness that happened last time was not what we planned, but that's what happens when white supremacists come out. All right, that's what happened when his supporters come out. But this right here is what we want every person coming to this town to be able to see our message and hear our message. We're going to be in this for the long haul. For any of you all that watched us when we were working to remove the Confederate monuments, it was 3 years of straight going at it consistency. And so you all just pay attention to my site, ronrawls.com. Pay attention to my page. What we'll probably do is probably in another month, might be sooner. Just pay attention. We'll come back out again. It'll be the same time, and we're just going to keep getting that message out at Flagler College. We're hoping that Mark Bailey is humble enough to do the right thing. But after a while, if we start seeing that Flagler College is not making an effort either, the leadership of Flagler College, Dr. Joyner, we're going to begin to also turn that attention. Right now, we're just hoping that they're working things out and they're looking for Mark Bailey to do the right thing. But if the leadership does not stand up, we're going to come just as hard and just as strong. All right, and so this is how we're doing it now. But we will amp up the pressure if needed. But you continue, be prepared for the long haul. That's why I'm not keeping you out here for 2 or 3 hours. Be prepared for the long haul. Look for the call, add more, and I can guarantee you that we were effective. More effective today than we were last time, because people are clear on the message. Last time, with all the chaos, they were not clear as to what was going on. They just thought that we were fighting against the Klan. All right, but now they're very clear on the message. When you come out next time, make sure whatever signs you want, also make sure that we have signs that say that while we're out here. All right, and then on your social media, make sure that you're sharing it, make sure that you're pushing it. Every day push it, and the college can't handle that type of publicity. Tell me, believe me, I know what I'm talking about. Can't handle, but we have to be consistent in what we do. All right, and so the more they yell,
that person just said, "Go home, Rawls, you're a racist."
It's their fault that the monuments are gone. Maybe I would have given up if they wouldn't have acted like that. But because they acted like that, we kept coming and we kept coming. And so the more clowns that come out here, that's the more fuel that we're doing the right thing. So I thank everybody for coming out. Make sure that we leave together and that we stay safe. Anybody has any questions? All right, let's stay united. Yes, ma'am.
I was just going to say, can everyone make sure if you're eligible to vote, you vote. Thank you.
Yeah, so make sure that you vote. And I want y'all to pay attention. If you're a student and you live within the city limits, if you're a resident, that clown that was doing all that yelling over there, Wade Rose, he's running for city commission. Now, the bad part about it is the one he's running against ain't no better. But you can go for extremely bad with him or very bad with his opponent. All right? But you make the choice. You make the choice. All right, bless you, bless you, bless you. All right, let's leave it together. All right, nobody straggle along and nobody stay behind and something else happens. I want to make sure that everybody stands with us and safe. Thanks for coming out.
Also, everyone, if you follow BLM Jack's updates on Instagram, we give Instagram on all the protests and these as well.
All right, that's BLM Jack's update. All right.
Does anyone have the blue cup? Okay, found it.
What's it called, Jade? St. John.
Really? Named after him?
That's what I thought you said.
It's like St. John's Pizza. Everyone leave with the fray! Or someone. Or no. Thank you.
Y'all be good.
Thank you.
Everybody be throwing on the shoulder.
Thank you.
Saturday, guys. Saturday's a pretty cool.
Thanks, guys. Make sure you're safe, guys. Yeah.
I'm going to keep rolling for a minute because it was at the end of the last one when there was violence. Just want to make sure nothing else happens here. Let's see here. So here's a question. Isn't there a process to have a statue removed if really wanted? Did they do any kind of process? Yeah, there was quite a lengthy process. The city commission had a meeting, something like 9 hours of public debate, and then voted 3-2 to move the monument. So one monument was owned by the city, and it was relocated to a spot about 19 miles from here in a park. And the second monument, which I think was owned by the University of Florida, it was moved to the same park 19 miles from here, and then has since been moved to a private spot belonging to, I think, the Loring family, the descendants of William Loring, the general that the monument was put up to. And that was over fears that it would be vandalized, is my understanding.
Goodbye.
It's like pick a struggle because I don't really know where I go with that. We're all we're having a good time. We're all each other. My goal is to get marked. I didn't have this sign. I wasn't raising this sign today. It was over there. I brought it.
The sign that you're carrying in your hand.
Anyway,
So that's the sign you're carrying in your hand.
Anyway, some white people need to get help.
So why am I white right now? Now you're being racist.
Oh my God, you're racist. I'm racist. And
Now you're being racist by saying I'm white.
The called me racist too. I don't give a fuck because I know I'm not.
Now you're being racist by saying white people. So why don't you plead your case to me if you're that intelligent?
We pleaded our cases and you're sitting there.
Tell me what you're doing. Exactly, and walk away.
We're not walking away. Oh my God. Ask your question.
You saw it. I know, but
it's not worth it.
I'm just waiting till like everyone's
All they've got is propaganda today.
I just asked a question. What are you trying to show me? Tell me. I will listen. They won't listen. I'll listen to you. Yes, I will more than respect you and listen to you. I just said, what's trying to be accomplished here today? Okay. I can agree with that. I can agree with that. I agree with that.
Well, I don't know where Doug's going.
Are you coming to the pizza? But we gotta go. Hey, Jeff.
We gotta get out of here. We gotta get out of here. Alright, Mary, walk hard.
It's a part of the history. Okay. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
You can explain that to her.
And I agree with you. I think that he should be gone because of the things that he did and he stood for, and I completely go back to you.
Yeah, because what it is there's
But I back you. I back you on that. I agree with you.
I appreciate
it
it.
emerged about the Civil
We all
War
need to go
after the war.
together. So
They
it's a
tried to
conversation.
recap
I
the
agree
war
with
in a
you.
new
Okay.
light.
It's really interesting to read when and why the monument got to them.
Yes. And things happen and people were assholes, but everybody has the right to believe in whatever they believe in.
Whenever they finish the Stone Mountain Monument, there's color footage of it.
Okay, but you gotta be hot as fuck, I'm just saying. Like, you gotta be so hot.
He's the one who got attacked by the white supremacists the last
Yeah,
time we were
there's
here.
actual color video footage
Yeah, they attacked
of
him.
them dedicating the monument.
They attacked you?
They did.
How the fuck?
Yeah.
That's not okay. That's
Two of them went to jail.
That's not okay.
That's why all these cops are
That's
here.
not okay.
That's why all the cops are
And
here.
a gun rolled out of his
That's not
pocket
okay.
too.
That is not okay. Nobody
A
has
gun
the right
fell
to
out
put
of his
their hands on
pocket when he went to the
Yeah,
ground too.
he was legal.
No, I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
That's legit the narrative of the
So which shows that he didn't pull it. They tried to say he pulled it on him. No, it was in his pants when they knocked him down and it came out.
It didn't get made back after the Civil War. All these monuments came up from a group of people. Was it the Southern woman, Southern white?
Daughters of the Confederates.
And they
And
came
the
around
KKK.
the Jim Crow era to erect these monuments.
And it's the same thing with the
Terrorize
school
black
names.
people.
They started
Terrorize.
out Confederate.
They terrorized anybody that didn't believe in their same thing.
That's right.
So we have schools named after.
Well, I am sorry, but on my behalf of everybody else, nobody should have the right to put their hands on you.
Are we going?
Y'all have a good day.
I sent it in the signal.
Oh, okay.
Just in case people wanted to go.
Okay, I think we've all had enough.